here.
Okay.
What College World Series run is more surprising to you? That's the question. What College World Series run is more surprising? Or whatever word you want to use. This 2022 version of Ole Miss or the 2018 Mississippi State run to the College World Series?
Okay, let's see. We got to do some reminding. Not everybody has the photographic Mississippi State memory like Brian Haydad. So let's do some reminding of what the 2018 season for Mississippi State consisted of, or of which it consisted, or whatever.
Sure.
A couple of weeks into the season, Mississippi State fired its head coach.
Not even a couple weeks. 3 games.
3 games.
They started the season off. They started the season off on a trip to Hattiesburg, got swept by USM, and on Monday evening, Canizero was out.
Because he was playing Candy Crush on his phone in the dugout during the game, right?
He was playing some sort of candy, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so 3 games into the season, Mississippi State fires its coach in Andy Canizero. And they promote Gary Henderson to be the interim head coach. Mississippi State began Southeastern Conference play 2-7. That means they lost 7 of their first 9, said a different way.
Should also mention they played most of their non-conference, or at least a good chunk of it, on the road because the stadium was not totally complete at that time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they started out really bad. Really bad.
Did they play some games in Hoover that year? Early? Did that make that up?
I don't think that's the case. Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
It was just a road schedule.
I can go back and find the schedule,
Okay.
But yes.
At one point in SEC play, after their 2-7 start, they were 5-10. Late in the season, they swept the Arkansas Razorbacks, and they swept the Florida Gators in the final weekend of the regular season. And that was a not good but great Florida team.
They were number 1 at the time, right?
Yes.
Number 1 team in the country, swept them in Starkville final weekend of the regular season.
So State started its season on February the 16th. They didn't play a game at Dudy Noble until March 6th.
Okay. So first 2.5 weeks of the season on the road. First 3 weeks of the season on the road.
Basically, yeah.
Mississippi State was also one pitch from going 2-Q in the Tallahassee Regional.
Yes.
One pitch. But that one pitch turned out not to be a strikeout pitch. That one pitch turned out to be I think it was a home run, right?
Off the scoreboard, if I remember correctly.
I think there was a guy named McNamee who went deep.
Yeah. And again, you talk about, strange things. Florida State, their starting pitcher, was it Drew Parrish? Was that his name?
That is correct.
Pitches, into the 9th.
And was
100-plus pitches. Was untouchable. State couldn't touch him. They have the rain delay in the 9th inning, and then after an hour-plus rain delay, they bring him back out there. And State figured him out.
Than that? Wasn't it like 2 hours?
It may have been longer.
Ridiculous?
Yeah, it's a long time. And you forget Stovall had a big base hit, and he sort of showed the path there that with 2 strikes he was going change up. And if he had thrown a fastball to McNamee, McNamee's going to strike out. He was sitting change up there, but he got the pitch he was looking for, and that was that. And they were off after that, off and running.
Then Mississippi State went to Nashville and beat Vanderbilt in what was, if I remember correctly, an epic super regional. Is that right?
One of the best super regionals of all time. You had 2 walk-off wins and an extra inning game.
Yeah. Really good stuff. And then, by virtue of winning the Super Regional in Nashville, Mississippi State goes to the College World Series, and they won 2 games while they were there.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately they said to Gary Henderson, thanks for your work. Nice job. We wish you well. And they went and hired a new coach. There were a lot of people that were clamoring for Gary Henderson. I say a lot. There were some people that thought Gary Henderson had earned the opportunity.
There was a portion of the fan base that definitely said that. Correct.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, State was one win away from playing for the national title. The problem is they're on the same side of the bracket with the eventual national champion, Oregon State. If they had been on the other side, they would have played Arkansas, who they had swept during the regular season, as you said.
So that's 2018 Mississippi State. The question on the table is which Omaha run, not as more impressive, which one is more surprising? That the 2018 Mississippi State team that fired its head coach 3 games into the season, or parted ways, or whatever we're calling it. They fired him, of course. 3 games into the season,
they fired.
Got to the College World Series, or the Ole Miss team that started the season ranked top 10 in the country and returned 8 of 9 starters, climbed to number 1 in the D1 baseball top 25 and stayed there for 3 weeks? Is that right? 2 or 3 weeks? Went to 1-8 in its first 9 SEC home games, including sweeps by Tennessee, Alabama, and losing a series 2 out of 3 to Mississippi State. Fell to 7-14 in SEC play with an RPI that got into the 60s. In weeks 8 and 9 of SEC play, swept Missouri, swept LSU, and had a win on the road against Southern Miss. Lost 2 out of 3 in its final regular season series to Texas A&M, who won the West. Went one and done in Hoover after people weren't even sure if they were going to get to Hoover and thought that definitely after getting there, they needed to win a game to solidify a spot in the tournament. They were the last team into the field of 64, swept the Miami Regional as a 3 seed, and won their Super Regional by a combined 15-0 in 2 games with only allowing 7 hits. So which Omaha run is more surprising?
I mean, maybe I'm a homer, but it's got to be State, right? It's got to be. That team was dead in the water. 2-7 in SEC play. They had no chance of doing anything, it felt like. And then you conveniently skipped that. It really got started for them when they took 2 out of 3 from Ole Miss in Starkville. Luke Alexander with a walk-off home run there. But, I mean, that team, to lose their coach like that, to have to play on the road for the first month, and to start off as poorly as they did, I got to go with State being more improbable.
I think I would agree with that. That it was more surprising that Mississippi State team got to the College World Series. I would say that this year's Ole Miss team has had more of a roller coaster ride, right? They kind of went up, and then they went down, and now they've gone back up, and then there was a
State
little dip,
was down
and
then was up.
fully on the ascent.
Yeah.
Yeah.